Most widely throughout the Jedi Order, the Jedi are known for wearing robes. The robes, in fact, are a dead giveaway of a Jedi Knight. The Jedi robe symbolizes the role of a peacekeeper and not of a warrior, as it was taught among the Order that a Jedi's last response should be combat, never the first. A Jedi, in fact, was only supposed to draw their lightsabers as a last resort. Although most commonly Jedi did in fact wear their ceremonial robes, in some cases they would don armor, most times in times of war, although this was very uncommon. Over the course of the Clone Wars though, specifically the start of the war, many notable Jedi did in fact wear armor. Most times these were Jedi that were involved in the most combat, as of course this made the most sense. Jedi that would not normally wear armor, such as Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, donned it for notable battles over the Clone Wars. In the case of Anakin and Obi-Wan, it even became a staple for them over the course of the war, as they were two of the most notable Jedi involved. In this video though, we'll specifically focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and what ultimately led him to don this armor, and in the end, what led him to take it off. Before we break it all down though, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Vikings War of Clans. Vikings War of Clans was inspired by the RPGs of the 90s, with some of my favorite RPG games being Star Wars The Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic. Some of my other favorite RPGs being the Final Fantasy series, mainly Final Fantasy VII. Vikings War of Clans though is unique, as there's close to 20 million online players, constantly changing and evolving the way the game is played, all of them fighting for resources, forging new alliances, and competing in live events. By downloading Vikings War of Clans completely free using the link down below, you are directly helping support the channel. Help support my channel by downloading Vikings for free, using only my links in the description box below. Once doing that, you get the special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield. These items will be extremely useful for the start. Don't forget to look me up and join me under my Vikings clan username, Stupendous Wave. Thanks again to today's sponsor, and let's continue with the video. What you guys might not actually know is that the armor that Obi-Wan Kenobi used during the Clone Wars was not actually Jedi armor that was issued to him. It is actually clone armor that Obi-Wan Kenobi adopted himself. This wasn't to say though that there wasn't Jedi armor over the Clone Wars. There certainly was, which we can see Anakin Skywalker wear, but the wrist gauntlets that Kenobi actually wears are from the armor of clone troopers. It is believed that specifically Obi-Wan Kenobi chose to use this armor because he felt it connected him more with the troops that followed him into battle. Kenobi wanted to form a deep relationships with the clones that fought beside him, not just view them as disposable. He wanted them to feel as if he actually cared about their lives, which he genuinely did. Therefore, he wanted to look a little more like them. He didn't want to separate himself significantly from the clone troopers. He wanted them to know that he was going to fight just as much as they were. This would eventually catch on, as many other Jedi would choose to don armor over the course of the Clone Wars, if for no real combative reasoning. This has been a piece of Star Wars mythos that has always interested me. The fact that there's no real reason for the Jedi to wear armor, but that they do anyway, for a lot of them varying different reasons. Some Jedi genuinely believed that it helped protect them during battle, while others simply used it to fit in. Of course, the battling philosophies of Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Over the war, various Jedi would choose to adopt armor, such as Mace Windu and Kit Fisto. Even Plo Koon would wear armor as the war progressed. But why did the Jedi choose to go back to their robes at the end of the war? The answer to that question is also an interesting one. The Jedi Council, Yoda specifically, were becoming worried at the viewpoint of the common citizen of Jedi in the galaxy. As Yoda and others were quick to point out, the Jedi were never meant to be a military organization. The Jedi were meant to be peacekeepers first and then protectors, but never true warriors to fight in galactic scale conflicts. This is why it was suggested that even though the Jedi would still be involved in active combat, that they go back to wearing robes. And as a Jedi Council member, Obi-Wan Kenobi ultimately agreed with this, returning to his Jedi robe, and retiring the armor that he wore over the course of the Clone Wars, his apprentice Anakin Skywalker later following him. The Jedi Order, rightfully so, became concerned with how the larger public of the galaxy viewed them after the war. The public no longer perceived them as peacekeepers and guardians. They perceived them as what they had become, warriors in this great conflict, something that Darth Sidious would exploit. as it is much easier to change the public opinion on a warrior than it is a peacekeeper, the Jedi returning to their robes being a sign that ultimately came too late. But that is why all of the Jedi went from armor back to robes over the course of the Clone Wars conflict. Specifically though, the reasoning behind the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. But leave your own thoughts on this in the comments down below, and do you think that this makes good sense in your own mind? Or do you believe this is more of a forced explanation as to why the Jedi did not wear armor in Revenge of the Sith but do in the Clone Wars? Again, thanks to our sponsor Vikings War of Clan. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.